Hi there, this is Akash Dave, the founder at Colab, and I'm super glad to have you back at the channel. Now, I know before you say it's been some time now before we had posted certain things or we've even gone live, but there's a reason to it. We were in fact trying to explore and see more avenues where we can help you more meaningfully, rather than just like leaving you all by yourselves to figure out how to get your internships or anything else. And now that we completely transitioned into a micro interning fellowship, the first thing we wanted to do is give back to the community and created this amazing resource that could break this whole miserable cycle of internship month. We realized that you guys really want to prove yourselves and you're mettle, but the biggest barrier that comes into here is just even landing the first interview. And so to address that, we released something called as the Internship Hackbook. Now this gives you a blueprint of what to do, how to do, which avenues to look your opportunities for, how to pick your opportunities, and in fact, even get the foot in the door. The next video that pops up right after this intro that you'll see is the first session that we took live with our community, and it's called the Internship Hacking. You would literally hack internships based on the kind of resumes you have, your interests, and there's a whole series of things that follows this. So that's pretty much it. Stay tuned. The next, it just starts here. I don't want to, keep you holding. And thanks again for coming back to Colab. And I'd be more than happy to answer your questions if there's something right after the video. Comment it down below. And if you're really interested to get on the other sessions, let us know and we'll happily invite you for the other ones. Off to the video and cheers, guys. Nice to have you back.
So this is my resume. I made it on Overleaf. To introduce myself, I'm a computer science student. Expected to graduate in December 2024 at the University of Texas at Dallas. Right now, I work as a software engineer for a startup called Sift, but I'm also interested in looking for other positions during the summer, and I just need any all-around help in my resume and interview skills. So how do you want me to go about this?
Yep. Just so let's say if you're interviewing for what's your forte? What have you worked most on? Tell me about that.
Kind of like everyone else, I've worked mostly on ML, and on top of that, also some full stack.
All right. So let's talk about full stack. Let's keep it full stack focused, but also don't forget to mention your AI based or ML based work. So kind of seamlessly try to branch things and chain things with each other. So that's how we'll be
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, the thing with that, I think for me, it's AI that I'm more focused on, and full stack is kind of just a little side interest. But yeah,
all right, no problem. Then switch the narrative. Go ahead. Keep it more about AI, because I'm pretty sure if you're more AI focused, you'll be going forward to those kind of internships, right? You'll be applying for those internships. And if that's the case, there's no point talking about SWE randomly. So let's keep it that way. Let's keep it AI focused and less of SWE. But you also want to mention about SWE because you want to show you that you have a diverse skill set. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. So starting with my software engineer experience at Sift, I joined in October, and since then I've been developing their AI B2B service using React, Node.js, and MongoDB. And I've also been working on OpenCV algorithms, specifically metas, and sorry, I'll have to go back and look it up, but I think I should be more prepared in an interview.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it, Ajay. We're just doing more impromptu stuff. So whatever comes right off the bat, say it. Think about if you're just talking to a friend. So it's just like that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. So I've made AI image classification and recommendation systems for the domain of fashion AI, fashion and online retail. And I've deployed them on AWS SageMaker. I've also garnered positive feedback from multiple online retailers for the startup from the potential to optimize style recommendations. During my machine learning internship at Broadcom, a monopolizing microchip manufacturing company, I reduced the overhead of an internal authentication and security web service So this was just like a security web service that they had within the internal organization amongst the developers by 34% by optimizing their backend using Nginx and other like and on top of that, deep learning techniques. Um, I've done feature extraction and data analysis for their internal LLM, which is yet to be deployed. And I've excelled in an agile development environment. Oh no, I think I'm like reading a little too much off my
Exactly.
resume.
That's
How
exactly
do
what I
you,
was going to say.
yeah, I like how would I go about, because like I have a lot written on my resume, but I definitely don't want to read off of it.
Yeah, so
So like
don't worry about reading it. I mean, obviously you were interning at these places, right? So you exactly know from May through August what you worked on. So just talk about high level stuff at the moment.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you just what see initially you just want to give an overview of what you are and where you're coming from, what your skills are, and you want to leave the rest to the recruiter to ask you. Because if you kind of constantly keep on reading these things, you're going to just consume more time, and the recruiter might just feel bored. I mean, they're people at the end of the day, right? So they're
Yeah.
interviewing so many folks back and forth. So
Right.
make
That makes
sure to use your and their time really efficiently. So let's go through your projects real quick, and
yeah.
we can go through the next section.
Okay, so first, Vapor Vision was this hackathon project that I did. We ended up winning first place for the sponsorship challenge back in 2023, November 2023. I used Matplotlib and the Gaussian plume modeling formula to dynamically visualize these methane level patterns at like this gas site. I
Okay.
used random forest and other like scikit-learn algorithms to locate these like leaks. And I optimized my second project back in November 2022. It was also another hackathon where I won first place for the sponsor challenge. We used pandas and matplotlib to visualize how these drill bits create this optimized like asteroid mining strategy for this company called EOG Resources. So they
Mhm.
basically had us they gave us a bunch of data on how drill bits effectively mined like asteroids, and we had to like choose specific orders of these drill bits using deep learning techniques. So we just used a simple linear neural network model, and we got a pretty good accuracy with that.
Mhm.
And both of these projects, we also wrapped it with a website using Streamlit. Um, and finally, I did research in the NLP domain. I used pre-trained models and LSTMs to classify crisis tweets for like general tasks and downstream tasks. And this got published into a conference and won best poster of the UNT MERS symposium.
Okay, interesting. So, see, here's the thing. I think it's Ajay, right? That's what your name
Mhm.
is. Sorry. All right.
Yeah.
So, Ajay, one thing again, you went really technical right off the bat, rather than just like talking about an overall thing. So, why was this project built out? That's the first thing. Talk about that. That hey, Vapor Vision is so and so thing. So it's an app where you can visualize through the gas. Probably if that's a thing, but yeah, I'm just adding, I'm just making things up, but you understand the
Mhm.
gist of it. So
Right.
talk about that right off the bat, and then use just the technologies that okay, fine. We essentially used Scikit and Google Maps API to do these things and branch these channels of communications or whatever. And then you want to just leave that room open for the recruiters to ask you more details about it. That's the first thing. All right.
Okay, that
So
makes
yeah,
sense.
right. So because
Yeah.
if you do that, you would be able to shrink down your project section, the three different, these projects, just within maybe let's say three minutes or maybe 2 minutes, super quick. And whatever you say would spark it. If the recruiter is really curious about how you did that, then they'll ask you the next question, and that moves forward. So I think so. Alif is asking a bunch of questions here, and just want to take it. Is there a way we can learn this business speak, like how to market and present stuff? Is that big statement? No, yeah, you could definitely learn that. You can definitely learn how. how the business speaks work, and we'll get into it for sure. I'll just work with Ajay here real quick. Ajay, one more thing. Here's a interesting challenge I'll give you, and probably everyone on board should take a look at this. Pick one project that you worked on, or maybe any internship that you worked on, that you clear. Since you have worked on projects, you have a good understanding of what goes in there, what you've built, or maybe if it's a team, since it's a hackathon, you built out in teams itself. So try to make sure that number one, you demonstrate that okay, fine, it was a team effort. What was your scope of work? Definitely mention that, because you really want to talk about it. That okay, fine, this is this is the part that I did, because obviously if you did this much, then you'd be at the top notch level, right? And maybe you'd be doing something else, or someone might have backed you up. So why is it that you're looking for internships despite doing these things? Talk about that. That fine, these are these segments that I worked on. So talk about that. That's the first thing. Second, now here's the challenge part, and this is the follow-up to the first one. Pick a project that is most favorite to yours, that's most close to you. Maybe you understand that the best way. Talk about your scope and walk me through the system design of that. And before you answer that, do you understand the concept of system design?
Yes. Are you talking to me or just in general?
Talking to you.
Oh, yes. Do you want me to go specifically through one of my projects, or is this just like a...
Just go through one of your projects pretty explicitly, the one that works best for you.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So I'll start with Vapor Vision. So Vapor Vision was the brainchild of basically this hackathon prompt that EOG Resources gave us. They gave us a bunch of data on these methane level readings from 20 plus sensors. And we had to basically try and find a way where we can predict hazardous methane levels ahead of time, so that they can provide a good reaction to those, a good preventative reaction towards those incoming hazardous methane levels. So what we did is we made this website using...
Please, if there's any disturbance, please mute your there's audience. Yeah, go ahead, Ajay.
Yeah, we made this website using Streamlit and implemented the Google Maps API as well as a random forest algorithm to make these predictions, so that the EOG Resources company is now able to react to these preventively ahead of time.
All right.
And
yeah, go on.
As for the system design, we had a few features implemented, right? The location prediction, which utilized the random forest algorithm, like I mentioned before. We also had the visualization of the methane levels, and methane doesn't always just spread out in a circle. Sometimes when there's wind, methane gets distributed kind of in a plume. So there's actually formulas for that using the Gaussian plume modeling system. We visualized how the methane would look like from a leak. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the system design.
All right. Okay. And what was your scope of work within all this?
All right. What do you mean by that exactly?
So how many folks worked on this complete project? Was it only you who worked through this complete project, or was it you and a set of other people?
I see. So this was a hackathon project. So it was within a span of 24 hours. And we had a team of 4. So I was their backend development, backend engineer. And we had one front-end engineer, one PM guy, and one general suite engineer.
All right. So as a backend engineer, what specifically did you work on within Vapor Vision? Was it the second bit that says, I think so you were working through predictive algorithms through Maps API and scikit-learn, or was it the first bit? Which one was that?
So I was the backend engineer, so mainly I focused on the second bit, but I also had a little bit of a part on the first. So as for the second bit, I implemented the random forest algorithm from scikit-learn, and I had the API calls routed from our Streamlit's backend to the Google Maps API. That was my role.
Okay. And I'll come back to this one. I just have one more question right after this. So you created the system design right before, you had pitched this, or made this whole app. Now, once it was finished, and once now that you revisit that app, what would you change in it to optimize it and make it better?
So the app was implemented in 24 hours. So there was a lot of stuff that we would still want to change and make for the better. One big thing is right now, the user in the app has to upload like a data set for like the methane, like for the previous methane readings. So they already have to have that data so that we can make predictions based on that data. But I would love to have an API or like some sort of uh, application database that already has that data of certain places, and the user is just able to reference off of that, so they don't have to constantly add data. Or there might be a possible way that right now, if the user has to keep on putting in data into our into the input. So, but like if there was a way that the application can store that the data that the user already put in case the user wants to go back a couple times ago where they put in a certain data set, like maybe a month ago, they might have used it for a whole month, but they want to go back to another data set. They'll be able to do that without having to like re-upload it.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Just not a follow up. So I'll loop back to the same thing, the ones that I mentioned before. Whenever you're mentioning about any projects that has more than one person's contribution, you really also want to amplify your work within that. So since you mentioned you worked on the backend part of this whole app, right? Just make sure, so you can demonstrate or you can narrate this whole thing as in like, fine, okay, fine, we had a website built out, so and so things were there, but I took care of the whole backend where I was making sure that I had a forest algorithm to predict the location, and I made sure that the accuracy was 88%, and I used Google maybe API for so and so things. So once that demonstrates two things. Number one, that you exactly know what role you had and what kind of impact your role made to the app, rather than the general app itself, because that again demonstrates your understanding of that skill set, right? Because as I said, projects are dime a dozen. There'll be so many projects throughout hackathons, personal projects, maybe research projects. But what matters is where your skills went in there and how much you understand about that project itself. Does it make sense?
Right, that makes sense. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. So yeah, besides that, I think so that would conclude it. Anything else you would like to ask me?
No, that should be it.
That should be it.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, guys. So we'll be doing, right now we'll be putting a pause on the resume review, but we'll be doing more and more of these sessions. So let's just move on to the next segment, which is about hacking internships. Now, I just want to go back to sharing my flashcards and start another agenda with here itself. So, oops, I'll hacking internships, and I'll start it. Let me know when you can see that the flashcards. Okay. All right, guys. So this, I think so. This segment itself was about understanding what you guys have on hand and how you can change things within this realm, right? First off the bat, we would just obviously we went through the interviews, we did assessments, and we had reviews. Now, one of the things we'll have to do is exploring internships and how this works. So I want you guys to do one thing for me, and that is type it down in the chat, your channels of finding internships while you're in college. If it's LinkedIn, if it's, whatever website it is, XYZ, type it down so we know where you guys go to first and find those internships. And we can like clear the clutter from there itself. All right. We have LinkedIn. Interesting. Okay. Handshake. All right. Okay. LinkedIn handshake. Interesting. Ripple match. Okay. Okay. Handshake. Indeed. Interesting. All right, you guys keep on coming, but I see one of the most interesting things that you. Oh, there are a few. There's Hamza says GitHub. That's interesting one. Nice. College internship department. That's great, Hector. Again, yeah, handshake is fine. Trust me. So at the end of the day, you need to look at one interesting and one bigger picture. Okay, you do a lot of emailing. That's great, Zayed. I appreciate that. We'll get onto that one as well. So one of the biggest mistakes people make while looking for internships itself is that they go on these aggregator platforms. You need to realize one important thing when it comes down to finding internships, that it's not just you but thousands of people just like you. They go through these websites and these internships pages and go and click apply. So the chances and the probability, it's just like it completely comes down. So you got to be smart and smart with your approach. And it's not about you reaching out on these websites itself, because again, your kids, you have less of time. It sometimes gets pretty anxious that, hey, I need to land an internship. So I'll just go ahead, apply more and more places, sign up at Handshake, Indeed, bunch of these places. But it's just adding more, chaos to you guys. So instead of that, what we can do is we can approach this problem into with a different mindset. Let's do one thing. I think so. I what was it, Mr. Adian, that we spoke with earlier for the first resume review?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Adian. So let's could you put in down a couple internships that you're looking for, if it's SWE or data science, and let's try to look up those, and I'll screen share and we'll go through those.
Oh, do you want me to like the posting?
Yeah, just type it down in the message, the kind of internships you're looking for, your fields of expertise, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, I have a list of places I've applied to, so I can.
Okay.
I could just throw one of them on.
Not a problem. And everyone else, you can do that so that we can have more and more diversity when it comes down to this. So.
Yeah, here's an example. Is it cool if I just send like a LinkedIn link?
I'm sorry,
What? One of these?
Oh yeah. So you just posted a LinkedIn jobs thing. Okay. Interesting. Let me open up, and I'll try to screen share here. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. All right, you guys could see it. I see thumbs up coming in, so that's great. All right, at any point of time, yeah, you guys can ask me questions, raise your hands, maybe just turn on your mic, just say that, hey, I have a question. I'll probably stop and ask you. Answer you guys. But okay, yeah, bunch of these places again, as you see, posted 2 weeks ago, already 100 applications. There's an interesting. Have any of you applied at? I forgot what was that. It's Twitch. Twitch had a pretty interesting internship. It was Twitch or it was Discord, which had. So they took out that internship. Let me just take Discord. Did any of you guys apply for 2024 summer Discord internship?
Yeah.
You did? I'm sorry, who was that? Could you say your name? I cannot see. It's
Aiden.
Aiden. All right. Aiden, so you were one of those 13,000 people who essentially applied within first 7 days itself, and they essentially had to shut it down, because again you need to, and this is a pretty good example of applying just everywhere and just like keeping in mind your odds of being accepted. Once you apply to some place, unless and until if they're, maybe let's say let's just give an example of this one, even if it's not right for you, but it's just an example. Even if there are just 100 applicants or maybe over 100 applicants, it's still a good bet, because it goes through the software. These people will scan down probably maybe 20-30% of people who might be just right for this role itself, and then go ahead with it, right? So when you see such roles, it's better to reach out to the recruiters directly rather than just constantly applying on that specific internship itself. That's the first thing. Now let's switch the narratives here itself. Let's move out from LinkedIn, because again, it's a cluttered space. And I just want to go back to the one that you were seeing. So you wanted a SWE internship, if I'm not wrong, correct? And that's a full stack.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So
Or
you'd be
I think this one's more back end, but
yeah. But you'll be open to full stack if it's front end, back end, or is it just back end itself?
oh yeah, no, full stack is cool. Like anything, I think I have sufficient experience, but
All
yeah,
right.
full stack would be more for me.
Okay. Interesting. And so let's just go to a bunch of different websites. It's not just one, but you guys need to remember there are more startups in this ecosystem than big tech. And the interesting thing about startups is they're always ready to absorb new talent because, again, there's demand. And secondly, with startups, these are new companies with new technologies, with smaller teams and fast-paced products. When you apply to these companies, it essentially, obviously, these people are looking for interns. These people are looking for, talent. So they would be, and since these are small teams, these are, essentially founding members. They would go through things because they also want to make sure that whoever comes within their companies are pretty much vetted or pretty much good. So they'll definitely go through most applications. That boosts your chances of at least finding a good internship. Again, at that internship, you'll be more and more working with that core team. So you'll be working on, more closely to the final product rather than be, within a pipeline at a big tech within your own silo. So that's one thing. Now, when it comes down to startups or even, medium-sized companies, there are so many websites you can actually go to. So one of them is actually wellfound.com, which was, previously called as AngelList, which is, it's a pretty, has anyone of you heard about AngelList or Wellfound? Just give me a heads up or a thumbs up, whatever. So not yet, no one yet. Just give me a thumbs down if no one's heard of this before. All right, so I just get that one here. Okay, I started to get multiple of them. Perfect. So AngelList is that one marketplace where startups used to go ahead and post their companies, and people just like you, or maybe people in the full-time employment realm, could go ahead and explore these companies and apply for their applications or jobs, right? That's what happened here. And it essentially turned out to be, so I had my previous company Spot Me listed here. We hired folks from here itself. But yeah, it kind of graduated to a more hiring platform where with more and more startups being onto that. So this is something you can look forward to. So we're gonna look for some SWE roles for Adian. And let's say I wanna, okay, I'm actually in a job search. So let me. I don't want to find talent. I actually want to get a job. So well-found jobs. And let's just say remote. Let's find something. Remote tech and jobs. Okay. So we're able to see some roles which are remote, which are, any industry that we have. Now let's pick some industry. I'm looking for software engineering, San Francisco. Just putting a bet here and probably just go ahead, search it. So initially, right off the bat, these are not just the internships, but also full-time roles that you can find here. As I said, since these are a lot of them are startups, here's an interesting bet. For students who are graduating, for students who are looking for a full-time role maybe next year, or for even interns, you can just directly either reach out to these people from these places itself, or you can go ahead and you can essentially reach out to the team, the core team. You can write to the companies itself. The interesting thing about writing directly to the company and the core team via email or reaching out to them is they're a small team, so they're pretty functional with all aspects of approach. So it's a great place to essentially start off from here itself. So again, you can find more here. I think so there was a filter option. I'm just not able to find it real quick here, but let me see. Let me go here, jobs. Okay, there's more filter. So yeah, I want to see an internship. And again, software engineering area. Again, yeah. Go ahead. You found some great internships. Software engineering, again, recruiter recently active, posted 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. CleanBot, I think so. I probably know these guys, but yeah, software engineering, front-end engineering. You can read about them. This place has more odds of you being accepted and you being visible to these people rather than just LinkedIn itself. Again, because a lot of you guys just probably know about LinkedIn, and college is a place which doesn't talk about these things. But yeah, that's one of the first places they can go ahead. You can look for more and more internships. You can look, again, you see the experience that these people look for. Again, since it's a startup, they also give you equity off on top of the kind of pay and whatever comes on board itself. So it's not you finding an opportunity, it's you actually growing through your career itself and that building that kind of trajectory. So that makes sense to you guys? Give me a thumbs up if there's something that you're getting interested in. All right. Okay. Interesting. Thank you. So yeah, that's one of the things. Now, similarly, you can find something. I think so. Chime. You guys must be aware of Chime. You can also see when this was posted. When was the recruiter recently active? In fact, here's an interesting hack you could do. I mean, Chime is pretty much big company now. That's what I'd consider it. But a lot of times, these people give out their direct, emails. Yeah. So you can see founders here itself. Now, this is the hack that we could probably do. So you could reach out to either of them, the founder and co-founder. Now, this is a bet, but it works on how you sell. So Alif, you mentioned that, okay, you need to have that kind of businessy marketing way of talking to things. This is where it works. So you need to reach out to these people. You need to talk about that. Hey, you know what? I'm a sophomore at this place. I've worked on these technologies and I came across you guys on AngelList. Here's my resume. Looking forward to a reply if I'm a right fit. That at least gets you into the know-how of the person itself. Even if they never, again, as I said, there are 100 applications. They have to go through everyone. What if none of them were the right fit? They exactly know that, Adrian was this one person who reached out to me. Let's just schedule a call with them. Because at least there's some bravado that he showed, right? That's one of the things you want to do. So again, what you can do is you can just go here, click their link. Again, there's a lot of times you'll find their emails, but again, if there's their LinkedIn or whatever, again, you can go down to anything, their alma mater, their education. If they're from your school, you can probably find their information through alumni database. But yeah, there's a lot to find here. If it's LinkedIn, if it's Twitter, reach out to them through different mediums. That's what shows that's what is the hustle about. You don't want to stick down just to your your LinkedIn itself and just keep on clicking things. But yeah, see, I have some folks who are common for me, but you might find someone here itself. Check their contact info if they're an email or not. Here's another thing: go an extra mile. Just go, if it's Ryan King, Chime, maybe it's a Ryan King, Chime. Let's just type email. Let's see what we get. A lot of times people may or may not leave things. Maybe he has a personal website, a portfolio website. Maybe he's over there. Maybe let's see about us. If there is some team that we can find someone, maybe Jackie Chang. So corporate affairs is not going to be someone who's going to be interested with us, but chief of staff. Let's go here. I think so. We were at this person's LinkedIn. Yeah, you go here, type that in. Again, I suppose she's still working at. I hope she's still at. No, this is a different person. But again, director of partnerships. The thing is, you essentially come down to people and you get through people like this itself. You just have to make your way. Again, some people leave their websites. You can just go ahead, find their emails, start emailing them. If not, just go, reach out Chime or Chime support or whatever. Just go through that, email them that, hey, I need to reach this person, write their reference, whatever. Just make sure it's just about you hacking through the way itself. That's how it works. But yeah, do you guys follow? Give me a thumbs up if it works. If it's interesting, if it's making sure it's making sense to you guys. All right, great. Great, guys. Thank you. Now, the second one is, work at startups.com. This is one of the biggest investors, not investor, it's an incubator, essentially, which incubates a lot of startups, which gives them money, nurtures them, and so on and so forth. But this is the biggest place where you can also find a lot of startups as well. Now, these are startups which are newly funded. So they are looking for more and more talent, more opportunities, more students, and not just students, more, people who are just more passionate. At the same time, when these people will be sitting down with your core team. So essentially you'd be interviewing with the CTO or the CEOs itself. That's the kind of attention you want with these companies. Because if you can sell yourself and your skills to these people, then it's a great thing. Then you can build that network effect more and more forward. But yeah, again, let's just come here. We're looking for software engineering real quick. And so let me do software. Well, let's type backend. Let's type real quick backend this time. And I'm looking for, my commitment is internship. I don't care about the company size. My experience is, let's leave out the experience. And let's see this. So this is going to give you, things from around the world. If it's Singapore, if it's going to be, this is Singapore, this is India. So right now, let's also put the location itself. So I want something in the United States. United States, yep. Again, some people might have it, some people not. There were a few internships that was super open for backend interns that we saw last time. But yeah, again, growth engineer, full stack engineer. This is actually, these people had internships. They were one of our partners at Colab. But let me just go back to finding. Let's go ahead. Let's find all. But we want experience to be 1 to 0. There is something available. So, okay, I don't know how senior qualifies for this, but yeah, founding engineer. The idea behind this thing is that you can identify the company, you can identify, what they're looking for. Specifically, let's say if there's a company just like this, Karma. Now, W24 means that they just recently got funded. So it's, Winter 24, it's a brand new company. They're looking for a bunch of different engineers. This is a good thing for you to keep in mind that, okay, fine, you can branch your resumes out to these people directly. So you can, I don't know, let's just go here on their website. Since they're having a lot of, software engineering positions open, we can definitely reach out to them and then talk more about it. I think so. The careers will probably take us to the same page itself. Yeah, it took us to the same page. But again, you can reach out to the founders. You can reach out, you can email the company. There's definitely going to be email on their website. And as I said, since it's a startup, these people will have your attention. So somewhere we can find their emails. Email us. Yeah, it's support@joinkarma. It's if you see right here in this corner. But this is another way you can find more and more internships. So there's plenty of opportunities outside. It's just that you have to be really smart with your time and with your skill set. Okay, I've just typed software. Let's just again switch to, so you got to play around with these things. Let's switch to internships. These are, if someone's into games, of you guys, these are great, gaming internships available throughout. I think so. There's sales and IT. I don't think so this would be working for you guys. Robotics, Alif. Since you work for this one, this is something that could work for you. Robotics intern. It's fall, spring, and summer. So this is also an interesting thing you can again find from here itself. So again, robotics and mechanical engineer over here itself. This is in Chicago, Illinois. This is I think so. It's in Pittsburgh. But yeah, this is how you can find things back and forth here. Another website, and I'm stressing on startups again. Startups doesn't mean that these are just like little tiny companies. There's, Google was called startups like 7 years down the lane as well. They were still making money and they were still startups. So why not try your hand and just increase your just make your time more optimized and as an opportunity cost with wherever you're just applying constantly. The places like and I'll actually show you around like how Handshake is working and what happens with them. But we just want to we want to use our time here itself right now. So okay, Adrian, we've been looking forward. We've been looking for your internships a lot. I want someone else to give me some other ideas of other internships. Let's skip out software engineering. Give me other terms. Any of you guys, just turn on your mic and let me know. Or maybe you can write in the chat. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
All right, just go ahead. What internship do you want me to look forward to? Let's find something for you. Okay, I see cybersecurity. I see data engineering. I see, okay, AML. Let's do cybersecurity. Data analyst. Okay, Akash will also go to data analyst. Interesting. Okay. So let's start with an outlier of these is cybersecurity. It's a completely different realm. Let's go here. Okay, we have some interesting summer internships, not one, but two of them. And let's just explore. And these are remote. See, that's the interesting stuff. These are remote internships. Again, for students just like you can go ahead. It's still, the cohort's going to run as well. And then, yeah, essentially all the details, how you can reach out, this place. Not a lot of people know about these places itself. So the flock is somewhere else, and you can take that, you can use that time and energy to essentially put at these places itself. So this is what I mean by hacking internships. Don't just focus on big tech or the places where your friends are going, maybe, or your university talks about. Trust me, even if your university claims to have a career center, they don't have so much companies as well. A lot of universities are tied up with Handshake and all these things, and it barely is the same thing. Handshake's business model, if you think of it, like, if you kind of slice it down and reverse engineer how they are using your time and you're using their time, is Handshake has these partnerships with the companies where they onboard the companies, they list their internships, and Handshake also partners with the colleges itself, and colleges have their students come on board. So essentially it's a marketplace suddenly for students. So that's how it works again. And if there are going to be 1,000 other students just like you, how is it going to be more efficient, right? So this is the thing. So yeah, Sammy, works for you, these kind of internships that are just right here. And if I want to see their website, maybe let's see if I can reach out to them somehow. If there's a career, maybe I can just phone them. Honestly, just phone them. Why not? You've been reaching out to them back and forth. You can phone them. Let's see their careers. I hope it doesn't point back to the startups page itself. Okay, you can directly apply from here itself. That's interesting. You can also do one more thing. It's guide point security. Take this up, go to LinkedIn, and I want you to search it. Maybe find people in your connections, maybe through your alumni, anyone. So I just hope it's going to be 2-3 different words. Hitting enter. I hope it's this. Yeah. Yep. Maybe, yeah, you just want to, oops. I wanted to find people actually. Yeah, there are people. Reaching out to them, connecting with them, that's works. That's something would be worth your time rather than just hitting around, because that's what's happening. You're sending 300 applications, hitting 300 clicks and not hearing back. So you think your chances are going down. In fact, there are no chances here itself, because it's just like you're playing a numbers game, but you want to do a quality game, and that's what matters here itself. So that's the first bit. And yeah, again, cybersecurity. What else? We have data analyst. Let's just go for data analyst. Data science intern. We have Dropbox. Beautiful. So it's summer data science intern, data analyst intern. Akash, that works for you. Again, it's V. So this is also the the company that directly works. That was with the cybersecurity. But yeah, here's the interesting thing. You worked directly with the CTO. So again, your skill level, your network, everything multiplies with these things itself. So that's how you want to do. You want to deal with internships, rather than just like constantly, beating around different websites or something else. Make sure, I think so, Akash, you're in bachelor's, but this is more about master's program. But yeah, you'll find more or less, such internships. Let's go back to, here and see data. I don't see internships for data analyst. It's sales IT, but let me switch to all and take your experience to maybe 0 to 1. Okay, this is bioinformatics specialist. I'm not sure what this is for. Sales wouldn't work for you. Customer software engineering, that's a full-time role. Sales dev, AI, AI engineering. Okay, what other we have? We have machine learning engineer, undergrad. Machine learning. Let's say a lot of these internships here get pretty filled up fast, but let's just check here. Yeah, machine learning engineer at MyFitnessPal. If you guys know about this app, beautiful app. You can track things, calories. It's for fitness. But yeah, here's one of the things as well. Again, V is doing NLP internship. So that's something, Hamza, you could do. You can try on. I think so, Catherine, that also, fuels your curiosity here itself. But yeah, these are a couple of places. Similarly, there's built-in jobs. So I'll actually share you the complete list of these ones, and you can probably spend the rest of the week just after how these works and how you can find these internships. But yeah, you can again select your job category, what you're looking for, your experiences, and then see the job match. Find the internships that work for you, find the roles that work for you, discover based on companies and so on and so forth. Similarly, F65 is also it's similar to the work at Startupscom, which I mentioned. A lot of startups, even when they're not funded, they start with these places, and these used to start back in probably 2016, 2017. And now this has graduated to more professional platform where fully funded companies, where companies which are paying interns come on here itself and essentially move forward from there. But yeah, these are the kind of internships. That's how you can find things and move forward from there. So you guys following it? Give me a thumbs up. Give me, I don't know, a party emoji, whatever. If you're liking this thing, if it makes sense to you guys, yeah, let me know. I'm looking for that feedback. All right, interesting. Thank you guys. That's on me. All right, okay. So we can move on to the next segment on like how you can curate these and how you can effectively move this, or you want me to show you around more? So just type that in the chat and I'll be able to gauge that thing. All right, let's move on to that one. I see a leave for the next segment. All right, okay, Ajay. Probably that's too much of talk, but okay. So let's go back to the hack and internships part, and I'll move into 3 things. So here's the thing, guys. There are 4. It's a cycle on how your internships and how you can demonstrate, whatever is in your head to that recruiter, and also get more opportunities. It starts with the skills itself. No matter what you do with your projects, what you do with your research, you really want to show substantial, work when it comes down to your projects or whatever you work on in terms of those skill sets. Skills are not about having just the tools or maybe tech stack. It's more about you understanding deep-rooted problems and how to solve those problems. That's what an engineer does. If it's about a data analyst, okay, you want to work with that kind of data and find and make sure you have great findings. If it's about machine learning engineering, you really want to understand, okay, how you can optimize any LLMs or CNN, whatever you're doing in much, much more better ways, so much so that it can help a company get ahead with whatever they're pursuing. When you do these things in a much more industry specific way, you kind of gain experience, and that's the kind of experience that works out. The experience that comes out from hackathons and all these things, it's great. It's great for morale boosting. See, I'll always be honest with you guys and pretty straightforward. It's great for morale boosting. It's great for these things, but it doesn't necessarily show so much of input in the industry itself. So you also, as I said, you want to make sure that you build that kind of experience, you curate that kind of experience itself. And once you do that, you start to get the industry exposure, which is this part, right? Since you have skills, you worked on proper projects, you worked on proper, systems, which got you experience on how to handle those systems. And since you do that, you understood how the industry works in general. When you are able to demonstrate these 3 things, you can get more and more opportunities here itself. That's the interesting part. And when you get more opportunities, you start to work on more things, you develop more skills. With skills comes expertise, and it's a vicious cycle. So that's how you play the kind of game when you get into the realm of essentially going forward through your undergrads or masters, through the professional journeys. So that's how we navigate it. Any questions until now? You can raise your hand, you can unmute, and you can ask or maybe write in the chat. Are we all good? Just give me a thumbs up. So if no questions, I'll move ahead. All right, sounds good. Fantastic. Okay, so now you've heard of, I want to talk more about micro internships, because I think so when you guys, got an invitation to the session, a lot of you guys wrote us like, hey, what exactly is micro internships and how these works. So opportunities in general are sliced into different segments. One of them is a full-time job, which is, the end goal essentially. The other one is internships, which is companies, when you get an internship, companies are testing out you guys just to see if you guys, fit in the role. You can probably, be a good fit for the culture, for the tech or whatever skill for their full-time roles. And micro internships are more and more segments, which is them assessing you on multiple different aspects of a role, of a task, to understand your clarity about that subject itself. That's one of the important thing about micro internships. With micro internships as well, you have the flexibility to work with multiple companies, unlike the actual internships. And essentially, micro internships lead to full-time internships. The goal with full-time essentially is the path to full-time is where you start with an internship, you constantly keep on applying, you interview with a bunch of different companies, and then you move ahead and you just get into that realm of internships, where you just are working with a company. And then once you finish working with a company, then you have to rinse and repeat the whole cycle of, again, hey, I need to apply again, I need to look for more opportunities, and so on and so forth. When it comes down to micro internships, it also slices the problem even like further and kind of gives more foolproof solution, where you work on small set of problems with the companies itself. You directly work with companies, but small set of problems. Your commitment goes low, but yeah, your work is still with them. So they are able to assess that, okay, fine, if Adrian is working on, so-and-so problems, this is, he might be a good fit for an internship where you can try him out on a bigger set of problems where you can challenge him more. That's the thing. For a student, that kind of micro internship, on a student side, it is like a trial where they can also try out more and more, effective ways that, okay, fine, if it's a different technology that I'm working on, for example, I think so. I'm not sure who I was talking to right now, but recently they were looking for, I think so. Was it you, Adrian, that you were looking for front end or back end role, maybe software engineering?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably thrive better in front end just because I've done more coursework related to that and like project work.
I'm sorry,
But
you kind of cut off probably the last line.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think front end probably would be better for me because of I've had more project and just class experience with it.
Right. Given a chance,
done back end work as well.
All right, and sorry to cut you off, but given a chance, would you work on back end as well, just to assess like what works the best for you in that way?
Of course, yeah. That's why I'm applying to any and everything
Right.
because I really want to find out what I like, which is kind of what I'm taking advantage of by doing internships.
Exactly. So that is exactly what happens within micro internships itself. So when you work on these short-term internships, you can work on multiple roles, because again, you don't go fully fledged with the companies itself. You work on these little tasks, you work on little projects rather than just going full-fledged. So that way you can assess that, okay, fine, I'm putting in maybe, let's say, 60 hours a month, or maybe 10, 15 hours a week, and probably if it works for me. If backend is not for me, I just don't want to stick with backend. I really want to move forward with front end, understand more and more templating languages, more technology, and all these things. So that's the flexibility that micro internships gets you. And with essentially, we at Colab work with micro internships, but outside of Colab, it's like a task. It's like freelancer.com, where you just go ahead. There'll be like a task that'll be posted, and you have to look at videos and finish that thing. But it doesn't work that way at Colab. So I'll take you to the woods. In fact, we have some of Colab members here with us as well. But yeah, sure, Alif. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Thank you for joining the session. It's been a wonderful ride, and I hope to see you in the next one within the community. Cheers. And yeah, so continuing this one, we'll talk more about essentially how things get relevant. So with this one, you start to get relevant, and that's the core part of core part of any internship or any skill development part itself. Like, you want to train with things, with skills that are more relevant to the industry. With your projects, with other internships, you start to just work on any single thing that's available outside, right? Even with your hackathons, with your coursework, it's just base level stuff. That, okay, if it's if it's a SWE or if it's a front end thing, maybe just work on React and work on these different things. But what else after this? There's multiple things. There's Next.js, there's Vercel, there's microservices on the backend part. There's so many things that comes into picture and that comes into play, and that's what makes more relevant experiences come into picture when you apply for internships. And that's how you can make your chances grow more. Similarly with this, again, we're just going through that complete cycle itself. Like, those experiences help you build those relevant those skills help you build the relevant experiences itself. Now, experiences, again, it's not about that, hey, I worked at this place for maybe 3 months and I have great experience. It's not about that. Experience comes with a core understanding of how your product or whatever you engineered works. That's the important part here, right? So that's why I kind of stressed on the part where whenever you're talking about more and more in-depth, more and more things about your project or even your resume, go in depth, explain them, show them a demonstration of your understanding. That's what your experience talks about. That's the thing. And yeah, the next one essentially is, once you do that, again, you form a network and all these things happen. But yeah, that's the flow here. So when I talk about Colab, what we do is we essentially do the same exact thing. These micro internships are something that we deal with. And just as you saw the complete hustle here, that you go on and go to different startups, apply there, we chop that down. And we essentially work with startups to give you direct internships. And the way it essentially works here is that when you work with, we know that, okay, there are 10 different startups hiring on, SWE roles. Maybe it's front end work, taking on React, Next.js. Its back end is more on AWS and, Lambda functions, so on and so forth. We take that information and build a complete training around it. So you immediately start with the training at Colab itself. Once you get trained, your training is essentially with some of the most finest people in the industry itself, and you work on a completely different project. This project, in fact, is unlike anything you have worked before, unlike your your pet projects, your research positions, whatever. And we have a complete life cycle where you just go through building and engineering a product, understanding the SDLC, which is the software development life cycle, understanding system design in a core way, understanding behavioral aspects. All these things you can only understand once you have users, because that's when you'll be reiterating on your product, reiterating on whatever projects that you've built and things you've done. So that's what you do over here for within the cohort itself at Colab, essentially. And yeah, once you are in that cohort, every single week you essentially meet someone within the industry. Now, these people are not just random software engineers, but people who are at the helm of it. So, we have folks in my network. You can expect folks like, director of networks at Google. You can expect folks like machine learning head at DoorDash. All these folks who have done things, sitting down with you, talking about problems, solving problems that you have in your mind, and essentially working through those things. So that's what happens here at Colab. And yeah, once that ends, you can immediately pick a company and start interning at Colab. And that's the magic, because we train you on these things and you can immediately start with these internships. Now, these internships, in fact, are on rolling basis. So it's not like, once you start to do internships, you have to, jump ship and maybe just repeat the process. It's a serial process. So you can keep on doing multiple internships back and forth without the need of interviews or without the need of writing resumes. And probably if you guys are wondering, like, why no interviews and why no resumes, it's because the whole purpose of that cohort and the training was to have you, equipped with that real industry skills and experience even before you start with these companies. And yeah, so that's how it works. And yeah, we have 3 months of micro internships at Colab. These are 10 hours a week. These are fully paid and these are fully remote. We work with startups just as we showed right here. A lot of different companies working with us. In fact, Colab and SpotMe, my companies also, we hire from here itself. Yeah, a training on Colab. Yeah, I'll answer your question, Catherine. just in a bit. And you guys can start posting your questions if you have, and we'll do an open Q&A just in a bit. But I just want to explain you how micro internships work here. So 3 months of micro internships. At the end of 3 months, you essentially get 3 options. One of them is essentially if you really want to continue your role. So in case of Adian, he like as he mentions, he just likes full stack. Front end dev. So he just want to go with front end dev. He doesn't want to try his hand on back end. He can very well do that with the same company, and the next 3 months are again renewed for his contract. Let's say he has a different view and he just want to switch to a different company, maybe try backend out. He can do that. Again, he can switch to the different company without the needing of, again, interviewing or writing resumes or doing things. Colab does everything for you right off the bat. And this is the experience that you see. You see what happened here. A lot of screen sharing, a lot of interaction, Q&As, asking doubts. That's how we work at Colab, essentially, to make sure that, okay, fine, we scratch that, that engineer itch of yours to make sure that you essentially go through that whole process seamlessly. And yeah, but that's how it happens. You can do these internships on a rolling basis. Now, when you do these internships, micro internships with these companies, it's like a trial for the companies itself. So if they really like you, they can convert you to a full-time intern or a full-time employee. It's up to you and company's discretion. But yeah, that's how it happens here. And that's how you kind of diversify your portfolio within Colab itself, by working with multiple companies, multiple technologies, and essentially never wasting the time reading about new things like, hey, I want to know about Google or I want to know about Amazon, because we bring those people at Colab within the community to do and to demonstrate their technology and how you can integrate whatever you have on those systems. But that's how micro internships work at Colab, actually. Just give me a yes or no if you have heard this term before. I mean, first time, or is it you've heard this term before as well? Oh, yeah. Akash, I know about you. So Adian, first time. All right. Yeah, first time. So, a brief Google search on, let me screen share real quick again. This is super snappy. It's going to be pretty interesting. But it's the first time, Hamza. All right, interesting. And I'll go here. Let's go ahead and share my screen once again. But, if I just do a random Google search right here itself, and I just go that, hey, micro, oops.
Yeah, I think you're muted. You're muted, by the way. Your mic is muted.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so my idea here was to demonstrate the fact that micro internships essentially has been in business for quite a long time, and a lot of different companies, like from MIT, Stanford uses it, Pennsylvania has it, Penn State. So a lot of different companies have companies. There's universities, they have micro internships program and all these things. But at the end of the day, it's what these people do is like they kind of just give you a task, and hey, if you can finish for this task, you still have to apply for micro internships. There's still applications, long lines, blah blah blah. It's just a waste of time. So, but yeah, it's the idea here is to demonstrate the fact that this has been in business for quite some time, and students just like you should use it, should know about it, and make the best use of your time with these things. So yeah, that's what we essentially like Colab does with micro internships, is like we have multiple cycles so that you never have to constantly keep on interning at different places itself. Yeah, I think so. This is something that I wanted to talk about, and probably let me see if there's something left in our segment slide, and I'm just going to open up the room for a Q&A for you guys. But yeah, one more important thing, we'll be announcing our cohorts, our application for micro internship cohorts in March, and this is going to be for business and marketing. We are already on our course for MERN Stack, and we have maybe one or two applications still pending, but we'll reach out to you if that works. I think so. There was Catherine who asked us a question. Is like, I noticed that we just had a startups and MERN full stack training on Colab. Will there be more roles? And yeah, correct. So there are going to be more roles beyond MERN. If your question is that, hey, if I just want maybe in mean stack or something else, that takes time. Essentially, we don't have those kind of micro internships. But yeah, with startups, you can apply to internships which are more operation based, which are more growth based, sales based as well. A lot of these things. But that's the thing. Ajay, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for your time. I really hope this was helpful, and yeah, very good here. Thank you. Appreciate it. So thumbs up for everyone who essentially did good stuff. But yeah. Could you please talk a bit more about micro internships recruiting interview process? Are the startups partners at Colab? Is internship guaranteed? Yes. So yeah, internships are guaranteed. That's the whole point of training. We train you because we want to make sure that you get these internships and multiple internships back and forth. And about the interviewing, we have a 7-day recruitment process. So it's a sharp 7 days. We'll give you an answer within 7 days, or yes or no. So we start with an interview. We essentially see if again the interview goes like proper technical interview itself, based on the kind of cohort you're going for. And after that, essentially, it's more about us asking you more questions if we are more interested in that. And we'll take probably 2 or 3 days to give you a final answer if it's a yes or no. That's the thing. Hope that answers the question. Apply for the what? Okay, yeah. So we'll be announcing. We'll reach out to you. Our applications closed for SWE cohorts. Yeah, the applications are essentially closed for SWE. We will be opening a last minute SWE cohort. We probably have a little. Our cohorts were going to start on 16th. It's going to push in Feb here itself. So we probably might take maybe a last round, but we'll let it's not sure. We'll let you know. I'll kind of keep you posted on that. You have my email. I'll leave you guys my email right at this one, and I'll also send you an email so that you guys can always get in touch with me if you have any questions. But here is my email. Yeah, so we will be having those applications soon. Not a problem. I'll keep you posted. And Catherine, I think so. Catherine just hopped off. That's fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, these are things. We have business marketing cohorts coming in. Great companies. You have SpotMe. We have companies focused on AI-based calendars. We have companies focused on NLP stuff. We have companies, a lot of these platforms. If you're looking for SWE, if you're looking for operational stuff, if you're looking for more financial stuff. So we have fintech companies also working with us, and we in fact will be doing a finance cohort somewhere in April. But that's the thing that we have so much with Colab. But I don't want to make it a Colab pitch for you guys. If you guys are more interested, I'll definitely share something for you. But yeah, what questions do you have? I'm more than happy to answer those. Go ahead. Feel free to unmute, kind of open your camera, and I'm more than happy to chat.
Hi. So when you're saying you have the business cohorts opened up, does that include more like data analyst jobs, or is that more so just like finance?
No, that's more business side. So that cohort is essentially focused towards the good things would be operations. That's one of the examples. The other one would be growth. So growth hacking essentially, or growth marketing is one of the things that we'll be focusing on. And marketing doesn't mean that you essentially to market stuff. Growth is like playing with the numbers itself. So that's one of the things with startups and with the business cohorts. That's one of the things. What exactly?
So do you think people?
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, if you think that people with more like a data science background, would that be something worth investigating for them, especially if they're interested in sort of like fintech, or did the technology cohorts already kind of fill up?
The technology cohort is filled up. So if you're looking for something that's just focusing on data crunching, so data science itself, which is literally if you just want pure data crunching, pure data numbered companies and internships. So we don't have that cohort micro internships right now, but we are doing them somewhere around March, April. That's one of the places that we have focused on. And an interesting thing about this is your training. You start with the training, as I mentioned, that goes on for 8 weeks. And once you're done with the training, then it's a rollover internships itself, back and forth. So we don't have seasons. We don't have seasons of internships like, hey, it's a summer, it's a fall, it's a winter. We have just a bunch of different companies. You can go ahead, you can pick a company and just start interning. That's pretty much it. Yeah, but I'll keep you posted. If you're interested, you can go ahead through the curriculum of business cohort. But I would give you a clear advice that, that's something that is not focused on data science, if that's something you're looking forward to. So I want to make sure that you use your time really optimally. But yeah, we'll be having that cohort shortly in April, in end of April or in end of March or early April. That's one thing. But yeah, besides that, we have SWE, which is like MERN stack. So when you go with MERN stack, it's not just vanilla MERN, but we tackle different things like serverless technologies. We work with back-end, front-end integrations. We work with which technologies to use, which architecture to work for. A lot. It's pretty in-depth and pretty rigorous when it comes down to these things. So yeah, that answers the question. I think so. Probably there are other people writing something in chat. I hope I didn't miss it. Yeah, Catherine, probably we will be opening one, or maybe I'll let you know. So I have to check with my team. We essentially have maybe 1 or 2 slots available, but I'll let you know. And you can definitely just go ahead, apply. So at least we'll get your application, and we can process that. But anyone else? Any other questions? Anything, it's related to micro internships, resumes. Ask me that. Knock yourselves out.
I have a question.
Yeah, Prakash.
This is about like the MERN cohort thing. I know like you sent out an email a while back about there being like a change in the instructor because there was like a family emergency and stuff.
Yes.
So when can we expect the internship to start around?
The internship or the cohort?
The cohort. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's in mid-Feb.
Okay. Thank you.
You'll get all the information on the community itself. So you'll get that shortly.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yep. And in fact, there's an interesting thing with the SWE cohort. So we actually have a hiring manager, an engineering manager, taking up the whole cohort itself, so guiding the whole cohort. So it's an interesting mix of the talent and the need that they'll be imparting within the cohort. Like, okay, what is exactly needed and what you should be working on and what's currently in the market. So that's the interesting stuff that's going on. But yeah, anybody else? Are we all? Yeah, it's all said. Give me a thumbs up if no other questions pertain. All right, Akash, thank you. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, Adrian, thanks Abhimanyu, Catherine, Sammy. You guys have been. Well, that was the end of first session. The second one goes live in just a couple of days, and it's called The Art of Pitching. That's something you really don't want to be missing, because we are going to use psychology to build out a fantastic narrative based off your resume and what's in the job description to create an impression that could actually get your foot in the door at the interviews. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified immediately when the video premieres. And again, thanks for sticking by Colab. There's so much coming in, right from podcasts to the industry experts and jamming with them, to live sessions, to our fellows talking about their whole experience and explaining their projects that they work on. But it's going to be a fantastic fun. We at Colab are committed to one thing only. That is making every season internship season for you. So see you in the next one. Cheers.